I'm so hungry. Let me out. I'll tell you what, first guy that lets me out gets his own spin-off. Not you, Cleveland.
Family Guy is incredibly popular. One of the most well-known and longest-running animated shows in television history. Whether you love it or hate it, it's a pop culture phenomenon. Family Guy has been on the air since 1999. To put that in perspective, Family Guy has lasted through 5 United States presidents, 25 WWE champions, and 0 Andre 3000 solo albums. Wait, what? So naturally, with this kind of success for a TV show, comes a spin-off. It's a trend that's been happening for decades. Friends was super popular, so we got Joey. Jimmy Neutron was super popular, so we got Planet Sheen. And Family Guy is super popular, so we got The Cleveland Show. But in general, there were some glaring problems that kept it from ever becoming truly successful. The immediate problem everyone had was simple. Why Cleveland? Out of all the characters in Family Guy with bright and vibrant personalities, why did they pick one of the most lackluster characters in the entire show to get his own spin-off? Sure, Cleveland has had some funny and memorable gags in Family Guy, like being in his bathtub and falling and saying no, 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 but aside from a moment here and there, Cleveland was one of the most boring characters in early Family Guy. But regardless of the decision-making behind the choice, Cleveland ended up getting his own spin-off in 2009. And it actually wasn't bad by any means, it just wasn't great. The word that comes to mind when I think of The Cleveland Show, mediocre. The humor was a lot more mild and toned down than Family Guy, and a lot of the jokes just didn't land. But one thing that was very enjoyable about The Cleveland Show was Cleveland's family. Cleveland's son, Cleveland Jr., went from being an ultra hyperactive small child in Family Guy to an overweight, lovable loser in The Cleveland Show. Cleveland's new wife in the show, Donna, was pretty awesome actually. Cleveland's former wife was not only boring, but such an over-the-top, stereotypical angry black woman that it could be cringe to watch at times. But Donna was strong and bold while also managing to be patient and understanding. Cleveland's new stepdaughter, Roberta, was like the opposite of Meg Griffin. She's popular, well-respected, with a strong and bold personality. And then there's Cleveland's new stepson, Rollo. Rollo is undoubtedly the coolest character in The Cleveland Show. A quick-witted and street-smart 5-year-old, Rollo is packed with personality. He's smooth with the ladies, and he's got the wisdom of a 30-year-old who's been in the streets his whole life. But he's also still a kid at the end of the day, and enjoys kickball and sugary cereals. But then again, who doesn't enjoy kickball and sugary cereals? These characters were the nucleus of The Cleveland Show, and they were great. A common complaint about Family Guy is that it usually feels cruel. The Griffin family almost seemed to be in competition to see who can be the biggest a-hole, and the majority of Family Guy is built around all these characters doing and saying mean things to each other on a regular basis. But with The Cleveland Show, there was a lot more heart, a lot more soul. There was a genuine sense of love and caring between these characters in this family. Rollo and Roberta slowly coming around to Cleveland and Cleveland Jr. being their new family, and the dynamic between all these characters just had a warm feeling to it that was refreshing to see. Sure, they could be mean to each other at times, as all families can, but the family of The Cleveland Show had a genuine sense of warmth, not to mention characters with very unique and defined personalities. But unfortunately, aside from that, the show never quite stuck with viewers as much as Family Guy. And it showed in the ratings. And in 2013, after 4 seasons, The Cleveland Show was canceled. In July 2013, Seth MacFarlane confirmed on Twitter that since The Cleveland Show was no more, Cleveland would be returning to Family Guy. And not only Cleveland, his new family would be joining him. This was great news. Cleveland being back in Quahog would be a welcome addition to the show since he was a main character in early episodes, which is widely considered to be the best era of Family Guy. And this wasn't the same Cleveland. When he was on Family Guy, Cleveland didn't have much of a personality at all. But since getting his own show, Cleveland had become much more energetic, loud, and boisterous. Adding the new Cleveland back to Family Guy would surely be interesting and a breath of fresh air. But perhaps equally as exciting was the prospect of Cleveland's new family being new characters on Family Guy. The new slow and lethargic Cleveland Jr., the bold and beautiful Roberta, the strong and sassy Donna, and the coolest kid in the world, Rollo. There was a world of possibilities with these new well-defined characters entering the fray, especially since a good portion of the audience already knows these characters and has an attachment to them. I couldn't wait to see how these characters would interact with the characters of Quahog. Would Cleveland Jr. become good friends with Chris? How would Loretta interact with Meg? Would Stewie and Rollo become friends, or would they become rivals? There was a world of possibilities. But when the Brown family showed up on Family Guy, every single one of those possibilities were crushed with one line from Stewie.
Man. Yeah, sup. Keep walking, you boondocks ripoff.
Immediately, Rollo went from being cooler than a cucumber, streetwise and charismatic, to being a joke. All of his qualities that made him so likable were thrown out of the window for a 5-second gag with Stewie. But it gets worse. Rollo's sister Roberta, as of the time of this writing in the 7 years since Cleveland's family has moved back to Quahog, Roberta has said 0 words. 0. Zip. Zilch. She's gone from being a well-respected and bold young woman to a background character. You'd be lucky if you got a facial expression out of Roberta these days. Obviously, it's not the Cleveland show, so no one expects her to have nearly as big a role on Family Guy as she had on her previous shows. But to have a character with that much personality that fans are familiar with, and to have them say 0 words for over 7 years, it's kind of mind-boggling. Cleveland Jr. isn't too far behind. Since returning to Family Guy, Cleveland Jr. is a key character in only one episode, A Shot in the Dark. In the episode, Peter accidentally shoots Cleveland Jr., and it ends up being an episode about hate crimes against black people. Jr. has a handful of lines in this episode, but aside from this episode, nothing. With the exception of this episode, Cleveland Jr. has said close to 0 words in over 7 years. No friendship with Chris or Meg, no interaction with the other characters, nothing. The Cleveland show character, aside from Cleveland with the most lines on Family Guy, has by far been Donna. She's basically become a part of Lois's crew of married women along with Bonnie, and she has the occasional line or two, usually something sassy. They've definitely not showcased her layered personality very much and have focused more on her sassiness for the most part. But that's to be expected since she's playing a smaller role now. But it's nice that we at least get to see her interact with other characters. Family Guy is a show that's known for having a lot of characters. From the main characters to the supporting characters to the various characters around town. Greased up deaf guy, anyone? And almost all of these characters are occasionally given some lines and even sometimes key roles in episodes. So it's strange that these characters who were once super important to an entire show, characters with so much personality and so many layers, characters that the majority of the fan base knows and feels some sort of attachment to, have become nobodies. Simply background characters with little to no importance at all to the show. We've heard and seen more from Joe and Quagmire's family members that don't live with them than we have from Cleveland's family that lives right across the street from Peter and the main family. You have to wonder if this was intentional. Was Seth MacFarlane or Fox so disappointed with the outcome of the Cleveland show that they just wanted to scrub any remains of the show from existence? Or do the writers of Family Guy just feel the characters lack the personality to be relevant characters on Family Guy? For now, to see this warm, lovable family, we'll have to stick to watching Cleveland Show reruns since it airs in syndication on a regular basis. The Cleveland Show was a failed experiment, but it brought some likable characters and some enjoyable moments, and for that, I think it deserves appreciation. What do you think? Do you want to see more of Cleveland's family on Family Guy? Sound off in the comments, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to Toon Fridge for more cartoon content. Thanks for watching, guys.